thanks so much to all of you for coming out on this crummy night. Driving was so depressing and gloomy and glary. Thanks so much to Sam and the Barrington Library for all their help with our candidate forums. This is the third one we've done here this week, and we couldn't do it without their help. I'd also like to thank our candidates who are running for the Village of Barrington Board of Trustees for attending. I know Mr. Roja drove up here from Springfield to be here tonight, so we are very grateful for that and for all of his fellow candidates taking their time to be here. Founded in 1920, the League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization that neither supports or opposes or recommends candidates for office. The League was founded here in Chicago over 100 years ago in order to help educate and inform the new female voters who had just earned the right to vote. The League's purpose is to promote civic responsibility through the informed and active participation of all citizens. Providing this forum enables members of the community to become better informed about the issues facing their community and the candidates running for office. We are pleased to offer this service to you. Here's some general information that we want to share before we begin. Today's forum will be recorded for the League of Women Voters' use in educating the public. A video of this forum will be available early next week, or realistically, maybe within the next 48 hours, on the League of Women Voters website and the Barrington Area Library website. The candidates have all agreed to this. No campaign signs, buttons, partisan materials are allowed in this room. No voice, image, or other duplication of the forum video may be used by a candidate's representative or campaign in any campaign advertising. They are, however, allowed to share the link to the video. We encourage everybody to spread the word and watch the videos. We usually get a good crowd like this for our forums, but we get hundreds of views on our website, so spread the word. All audience members are hereby advised that their image may appear in the forum video or in photographs that we take this evening. So if you want to view the forum, go to the League website, www.lwvpalatinearea.org. So to help us stay within our time limits and out of respect for the candidates and your fellow attendees, we ask that you hold your applause until the end of the forum. No questions will be taken from the floor, and no interruptions, heckling, or other disruptions will be tolerated. Please take a moment to silence your cell phones. I'm pleased to introduce our moderator for today's forum, Samantha Horia, another Sam. Sam is a member of the League of Women Voters and has been trained by the Illinois League. We're fortunate that she's able to be with us here tonight.
Hi everyone, I'm Sam. It's my pleasure to be with you tonight to moderate this candidate forum. As a resident of Palatine, I'm not eligible to vote in this election, so I've been asked to serve as an impartial facilitator for this discussion as a volunteer with the League of Women Voters. Let me take a few minutes to explain the format to everyone and the rules for the forum. All of the candidates were contacted by mail, email, or phone and have agreed to abide by the ground rules provided by the League of Women Voters. They're as follows. Candidates have drawn numbers to determine their speaking order. I'll rotate this order during the forum for questions, and each candidate will answer every question. The candidates' answers will be timed by a group of timers trained by the League. They'll hold up a sign indicating how much time the speaker has left. Timers, if you would raise your signs, please, so everyone can see them. And a big thank you to our timers this evening for all of their assistance. Every candidate will have 2 minutes for their opening statement. Next, each candidate will have 1 minute to answer their questions. I will be happy to repeat the question if needed. Candidates will be given a 30-second and 15-second warning, so please quickly complete your thoughts before you see that stop card. Time limits are going to be enforced out of respect for all of the candidates. If needed, a rebuttal may be requested. Each candidate may use a maximum of 2 rebuttals. Rebuttals will be timed and limited to 30 seconds each. The candidate only has to raise their rebuttal card if they wish to speak. At the end, each candidate will have a 1-minute closing statement. Questions have been submitted by audience members at the time of registration, the candidates themselves, and by local civic organizations. They've been reviewed for clarity, appropriateness, and to avoid duplication. We've done our best to ensure that the questions are also free of inherent bias. Candidates have been asked not to interrupt one another. Attendees, please silence your cell phones. Even if you think it's on silent, it's a good idea to double check. And finally, in respect for our candidates, we appreciate no loud noises like clapping or talking during the forum. Today we'll hear from 4 candidates hoping to represent the Village of Barrington as a trustee. With us today and on the ballot are Lauren Clower, Jennifer Wondrusek, Todd Cholene, and Jesse Rojo. We've all determined that we're going to go by first names today, so the the forum will be a little bit less formal. I want to thank you all for your participation. We're going to begin with our opening statements. By number draw, Todd will go first. Thank you. Excuse me, Todd, now you have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for, I guess I should use this.
Yes. Here you go. Turn off his time.
Don't start my time yet. I'd like to say thank the League of Women Voters for putting this forum on today, and also for everyone in the audience for being here tonight on such a wonderful evening. A little rainy out. My name is Todd Cholene. I am currently a trustee in the Village of Barrington. I've been a trustee since August of 2015 when I was appointed to my position. I've gone through 2 elections since then. This will be the 3rd. And I have been a resident of the Village of Barrington since 1992. My wife and I, Heather, moved here from Chicago and into a community that was along the train line because we both worked in the city. Since we've been here, we're the parents of 2 children that went through Huff Elementary School, Station Middle School, and the Barrington High School. And so we've been very thrilled with the schools and with the whole community. And along with being a trustee over the years, I have volunteered for the Rotary and for Citizens for Conservation. For going to be this year coming up, I'm going to be the chairman of the Crop Walk. So, and I also volunteer at one of the grade schools here in town. So I listen to readers from 2nd grade read to me. And through Rotary, I volunteer with Meals on Wheels. And so I just am really thrilled to be able to be here to talk about the issues. So thank you very much.
Do I just start? Okay. Hi, I'm Lauren Clower. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here. I've lived in Barrington my whole life. My family moved to Barrington when I was 2 years old. I went to Winky Bear preschool, if anybody recalls. It was at Salem. And now it's Salem Methodist. I went to Grove Avenue School, Station Middle School. I'm a graduate of Barrington High School. I studied journalism and creative writing at Miami of Ohio. And then I worked, not in writing at all, in the liquor business, and primarily in trade marketing for the Absolute Spirits Company for many years. I moved back to Barrington 13 years ago with my husband Michael, who's not from here, and my 2 kids, our 2 kids, Gia and Matt. They've gone to Little Angels preschool, they went to Huff, and now they're both at Prairie Middle School. When I stopped working to focus on our kids, I turned my focus and commitment to my community work. I've served on the board of Barrington Children's Charities, on the exec board actually. I'm a member of the Barrington Civic Leaders Cohort, an advisor to the Barrington Area Volunteer Connection, served as a lead for the most recent referendum advisory committee. I volunteer my time at various local organizations like BYFS, and I'm active in my children's schools and local sports. So I'm around. Yeah, I think, that's it, right? That's me. Okay.
Start. Good evening, everyone. First, let me say thank you to the League of Women voters for putting this together, thanking my fellow candidates for being here, but most importantly, thank you, all of you, for participating in this great democracy. Guys, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here tonight. With that said, my name is Jesse Rowe, and I'm running for trustee in the village of Barrington because of the lessons of my father. He taught me that to love your country and to love your community means to serve it and to work to make it better. I carried that lesson with me in the U.S. Army. I carried that lesson with me in my last 10 years working in the nonprofit world, and I will carry that lesson with me as a candidate. And I hope to bring my experience to this position. Experience that includes having to manage some of the smallest budgets. If you don't know the nonprofit world, we have small budgets. And in doing that, I've learned how to be creative so as to be as efficient and productive as possible. Experience that also includes community engagement and doing so in the best manner possible so that we can get as much input and represent as many perspectives and our ideas as we can. And the experience I've gained in the last few weeks as a candidate, where I have knocked on over 800 doors and spoken with directly 300 voters and heard their hopes and their dreams for a brighter Barrington. As a result, I've come up with a vision for a brighter Barrington, where we will increase collaboration among nonprofits so as to streamline services, increase grant writing so we can have more programs without needing more taxes. And in doing this, we will create a more vibrant downtown that will support small businesses and create a greater sense of community. This is my hope and this is my vision for a brighter Barrington. And if you support that vision, I hope you'll consider voting for me on or before April 1st. If you want to learn more about me, you can go to my website, jesserowe.org, or visit my Facebook page, Jesse Rowe for a brighter Barrington. Truly, everybody, thank you so much for being here, and I hope we have a great forum.
Sorry, okay. Hi, everyone. And like everyone, I very much want to thank the League of Women Voters and everyone who's here. I love to see that the political process can work and that this community really comes out to be invested in their community. So thank you. I'm Jen Wondrasik. I've been here, lived here for 30 years, long time. I've raised both my kids here, Tommy and Paige, with my husband, Jerry. I currently work for Deloitte as an engineering and in project management. I graduated from Barrington High School, and like so many people, when it came time to raise my own family, I wanted to come back. I wanted Barrington. It was a strong community with a rich heritage, small town feel. I mean, this is what I wanted for my family, so I came back here. And one of the many wonderful aspects of this community is that it really values volunteerism and giving back to your community. So I've really appreciated the opportunities I've had to serve Barrington. I've been on the village board for 8 years. I've been on the board of Barrington Youth and Family Services. I've done a lot with the schools, like the District 220, like in 1 minute, and as Street PTO president, lots of volunteering with my church, everything, like everyone here. So these experiences, I think, really allowed me to immerse myself in this community and get to listen and collaborate with a diverse group of people. So, you know, I get to make policy as a trustee that works for the people by listening to everyone and being immersed. The past 8 years, you know, I've heard what the residents want. They want the town revitalized. They want new businesses, but they want to keep that small town feel. So the boards we've continued to be fiscally responsible. We've gotten grants where we can, up to $100 million. We have a strategic plan, you know, to bring the businesses into our town, that we really need to complete this year. We have momentum. Our vacancy rate is down to 2.7 seconds. We really are positioned to give the village of Barrington the fiscally responsible economic growth that everyone wants. Thank you. Oh, and I didn't have this up here, sorry.
Thank you, and now we will move on to questions. Remember, you each have 1 minute to answer. Which services provided by this village are well executed, and which ones need to be improved? Lauren.
Okay. Well, I think that the services provided by the village, especially police and fire and safety, those services are incredible. We have a really good infrastructure in Barrington. I think that the working with the people in Village Hall has made it really clear that the teamwork between the trustees and the village and all of the services available to the community have it is a streamlined process. I think it is really kind of a really incredible teamwork atmosphere. I don't know, I'm a little nervous. It's incredible to watch everybody work as a team, and I think that those services are very streamlined. I can't think of one off the top of my head that need to be improved, but I'll get back to you on that.
Jesse?
Test, right? So, just like Lauren, I agree that our police, our fire departments are incredible. The safety we have in this community is awesome. It's one of the reasons I moved out here, and also, not necessarily service, but the beautiful nature we have out here is an incredible appeal to so many residents. With that said, what is something we can improve on? One is our community events. We can have more of them, and specifically more community events that speak to our young people, speak to our young families especially. If we have these type of community events that appeal to all of Barrington, we'll actually have all of Barrington out and about, creating a more vibrant downtown. At the same time, we need to implement the underpass so we can overcome a lot of the traffic concerns we already have, therefore creating a route to sustainable growth in Barrington. Those are just a few of the things. 1 minute goes by fast.
Jennifer?
All right, so I would say, like everyone, our police and fire, it's very strong. I am so thankful and forever grateful to them. I'd also say our public works is spectacular. I mean, it's not glamorous like waste treatment and roads, but our roads are great. We have a 100-year-old waste treatment plant, and they keep it going. So I am very thankful. You know, our communication is great, but I think that service could always be improved. I think we have to look at, there's so many different platforms to communicate, and I think we can improve on some of them to make sure that we reach everyone. So I think that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Todd?
Kind of echoing everybody else, but I think that we do quite a few community events in our community. We have the cruise nights. We have the public, the one where it's the National Night Out. We do a lot within the community. We also do a lot of communication with nonprofits in our community. And I think that it's, that's what I think is really good. Yes, sometimes I think a sense of some communication might be, is always a helpful thing to have more communication. Also, maybe some of the issues might be having a little bit more connectivity, walking wise within the village. So I think those are important things that we have within our community.
Thank you. Next question. What are your plans to improve the economy and jobs in this area? Jesse?
Of course, thank you. I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but increasing collaboration among nonprofits so that we can efficiently connect families with the resources they need. This will then open up their time so that they're not struggling to survive, but instead can go out and visit small businesses. At the same time, having even more community events, especially community events that appeal to our younger folks, will ensure that we have that vibrancy downtown that creates the type of flourishing small businesses we all want. This is not to say we don't have community events right now, but we can improve. And to say that isn't to say Barrington isn't good enough. I chose this as my forever home for a reason. I love Barrington, and that's why I want to serve it and work to make it better and have events that bring out all of our families and create a brighter Barrington for everyone.
All right, so just really to improve our economy, we talked about this, revitalizing our downtown and really continuing that momentum. I mean, we have a park coming in this spring that's going to be a gathering space for events, but also a place for people to linger and to have community. You know, we need to improve our connectivity, which we've really done a great sense. You know, we've brought in the bike path to bring in everyone from Roslyn Road area to be able to come into our town. So it's a walking town. You know, we've got the TIF district that's bringing in 125 multifamily units. That's going to bring in foot traffic. And you know, that first floor is 12,000 square feet of retail and restaurants, and they have restaurants to go in. So bringing in this foot traffic, revitalizing our town, making our streetscape better, making a place where people want to gather and linger, that's going to really help our economy and continue this great momentum and revitalization. Thank you.
Todd?
I think some of the businesses that have been brought into our community are one thing to help with employment. One of the large issues, not issues, but events we had was the Barrington, which used to be the GE Capitol building. And that has been revitalized. It's been opened up to having more, renting it out to different entities so they can have employment within the community. And I think that's our board, and what we'd like to work toward is being able to make that kind of transition easy for our businesses, for them to come into the community.
Thank you. Lauren?
All right, I think that all of the infrastructure and all of the improvements that are going on right now in the planning in Barrington is really incredible. I think another thing that would maybe add to it would be to support spaces and try to help people create spaces that nurture small businesses and local artists and restaurants and vendors in places where people can gather and have a meal or meet for a coffee or check out some like local artists' work or just hang or do work or create community, things like that. I think that kind of nurturing those spaces and nurturing people who want to create those spaces would be really important and really impactful.
Thank you. Next question. What can be done to make the village more friendly to walkers and bike riders? Jennifer?
So, like I said, we did finish the connectivity to Roslyn Road, so that is a big path. It's a long path, goes all the way by Hart Road. We finished the sidewalk. It took 20 years to get that thing around the high school, so that's brought all the way out into our city. We're improving all of our sidewalks, we're improving the safety by adding our crossing gates to all of our rail crossings. The bike paths, we have done quite a bit. Again, I mentioned some, there's some by Dundee, and what we're doing with these, there's a larger comprehensive Northwest area bike path where we're connecting other communities, and that will bring people from other communities into our community. We're also doing one on Hillside where we're connecting it. So it is very important to keep these going. That's what we're doing.
Thank you. Todd?
Could you repeat the question?
Absolutely. What can be done to make the village more friendly to walkers and bike riders?
Well, there we go. We have, in a sense, as Jennifer said, there have been a number of connections, in a sense, on Hart Road, connecting the new intersection that's at 14 in Hart Road, which has been helpful to be able to have a crosswalk so people can come walk to the high school if needed. We also try to make a much better walkway for the students when they do their sort of remote parking and walking in. So there's a lot that needs to be done for that, having more connectivity, which we're working on. But it's somewhat difficult when you have a community that has so much traffic coming through the town. That makes it a bit difficult, but the thing is it's something we're working on. Also the walkways, we had improving that. We have a grant for improving that the walkways within the town center. So that's what we're working toward.
Thank you. Lauren?
I'm just going to piggyback on what was already said, but currently I know that the village is working on or has a 5-year plan in place that is going to make accessibility and activity in the town much better, bigger, better. And it'll allow Barrington to thrive. And if elected over the next 4 years, I think that the goal would be to nurture that plan and then build off of that plan where possible and just continue to improve all of these spaces that are being created for Barrington and its community.
Thank you. Jesse?
It first starts with infrastructure. We have to be able to overcome the traffic concerns that are already existing that create also safety concerns for walkers. Implementing the underpass, something that's actually already underway, something the village has done a great job on that we just have to get past the finish line, will be that first step. From there, we also have to look at increasing the amount of bike paths we have, especially within our beautiful nature, and more sidewalks, especially in our residential communities. Beyond that, though, it's about giving people a reason to come out and be walking about. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but community events that appeal to everybody. Community events that are nature-centric, getting kids off their phones, off the TikTok, and actually out and playing in the community. Events with organizations that exist here. One thing we've done incredibly is partnering with the Barrington Veteran Fraternity, soon to be Barrington American Legion. Huge shout out to Clancy, the village events coordinator, for that. Incredible events that we can build on, and there's so much more we can do. Family fun type of things that gets the energy in Barrington's downtown, creating just a brighter Barrington.
Thank you. Next question. What infrastructure projects are a priority to address in the village over the next 2 to 3 years, and how should they be paid for? Todd?
Well, of course, everybody's been talking about the underpass, but that has been approved. We do have the funding for that. So the next thing to move on to would be, which has been the talk of the town, is the pedestrian gates at the Union Pacific crossings on Huff Street and Main Street. There is money earmarked for that. We don't have it, but but we do have a plan. And the next step is to get approval from the Union Pacific Railroad to be able to move forward with that. And so those are some of the infrastructure plans we're trying to implement within the community. And that's all I have at this point.
Lauren?
I think that, you know, we said talking a lot about the underpass, but I do think that getting that done in a timely fashion is really important. And then maximizing the space along Northwest Highway, now that the traffic flow will work better for our community, using those spaces for new business and things that the community can use would be really important for the infrastructure. And as always, like Todd said, oh hello, as always, like safety too. So anywhere we can make our community safer, we should and we will.
Jesse?
Just like everybody else, the underpass pedestrian gates are the top priority in ensuring funding through multi-level approach, ensuring that we're working with all different forms of government. That's somewhere I'm actually really excited to bring my experience. It was mentioned earlier, I'm down in Springfield today. I've done state policy for the last 10 years or so, and I'm excited to bring that experience to this. At the same time, one thing I want to point out is that with all of our infrastructure projects going on now and in the future, we need to maximize community engagement so that we can preemptively avoid any tension that happens with the community, making sure that we're getting their input. And this means not just distributing information through our website or our Instagram or whatever else, something we have done really good on and we should be proud of as a village, but also increasing the amount of town halls, increasing the amount of community engagement events. One thing that's being done soon is actually our village president is going to the high schools. That's a great idea that we should continue to carry on. Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse. All right, I will be like everyone and say the Route 14 underpass, I know. But you know, the reality is that's gonna save our village. Without it, we'll die. So that one it is a huge undertaking. We are shepherding it. You know, it's IDOT's project, but really I'm very thankful to staff for that. Obviously the pedestrian gates and those will be going through. We have the funding for all of these and grants and we have done, and our staff really has done an excellent job of getting grants to fund so much of our infrastructure needs, whether it be the underpass or it's Hillside Avenue or, you know, almost everything, the Hart Road, everything you see, there's been a large grant and really we've been very fortunate on that. But something that is not gonna be that, not everyone's gonna love to hear about, but we do need to do our waste treatment plant. We're already starting the grant search on that to redo that. It's 100 years old, it was rehabbed 50 years ago, and there's so many new EPA requirements that we need to hit. So that is definitely gonna be a priority to make sure we're meeting EPA and good water.
There you go.
Thank you. Next question. What ideas do you have for commercial and industrial properties in the village that are currently unoccupied? Lauren?
Well, I think I said before, I would like to use some of the spaces that are unoccupied for small businesses, local businesses, some restaurants, things that like can create community but also create business and revenue and some tax revenue and all of these things. I think it's important that we start to focus on Northwest Highway 2, that space that is so important to our community, and we don't, you know, we can use more of it. We can maximize that space as well. So I think a lot of that can be addressed. Also, that you mentioned that Barrington space. I know that the village is working right now with the contractor to kind of start to make a plan for that, which would be incredible too. That's a huge space that could be used for our community.
Thank you. Jesse?
In order my hope is to use these unoccupied spaces first, just like Lauren said, for businesses. One thing we should really consider is having them actually share spaces, which would lower their own costs, supporting them in being more, well, fiscally responsible and being able to strive more. Better small businesses in our community is better for everyone. At the same time, another thing is maybe looking into housing. And now this is super complicated. I'm not gonna give you a politician's promise and say we can solve that like that. We can't. but it's something we can look into because we do need more diversity in our housing, more starter homes, more apartments, especially for our young families looking to buy a house out here. And then obviously, I gotta say it, using the space for community events and making sure we get our folks out and about.
Jennifer?
All right, thanks. Well, you know, times have changed since COVID, especially how we work. Really, there's a lot of vacancy. We're at like 22%, not for our retail, but for our office space. And that's better. It was at 24% last year, and that's how everyone is. So I think we have to look at new options, like the Barrington did. It's looking at bringing in, you know, a theater group. You have to look at something different. Restaurants. It's just time to change how we look at it. The Village of Barrington has a dynamic, this property site website that allows, like 30 seconds, allows, outside people to come in and look at these commercial sites that are open. So, I mean, really, it's just, we have to look at reinventing and changing these sites so that we can bring in different types of businesses that will want to be there. Thanks.
Thank you. Todd?
At one time, we had a whole group of different commercial entities within the Village of Barrington. One was Jewel Tea, which was just over here, American Can, our own lumber yard. But the thing is it has changed over the years, and we're very fortunate to be able to have the TIF district that's going to be able to redevelop the Golden Triangle. And to also, we're going to have townhouses that are going to be over where it used to be, the Harris Bank drive-up, which they're not really needing anymore because they're kind of consolidating and reducing the amount of space that the Harris Bank needs. And so there's been a lot of work, I think, on improving and the commercial aspect of our village.
Thank you. Next question. What additional resources would you fund to increase public safety in the village? Jesse?
Of course, public safety is a top concern. The safety we have here in Barrington is one of the reasons I moved out here and chose this as my forever home. First, we have to do everything possible to support our police. They are the ones who are defending us. They are such an incredible asset. Beyond that, though, it's also about addressing the root causes behind a lot of the concerns with our public safety. For example, we have to look into addressing the mental health crisis that so many people, especially our young kids, are going through. Partnering with nonprofits would be a huge way to facilitate that. Creating a peer-to-peer ambassador program, having young students reach out to other young students, having veterans reach out to other veterans, so we can get people to overcome the stigma that exists around mental health and access the services that they need. And this can be done with so many other ways, and it's something that I have personally helped do in Chicago to get families connected with childcare. That's just one idea.
Thank you. Jennifer?
Our public safety is our number one. We have an excellent public safety group. We very much support when they come to us needing new equipment. We support it, and as best we can. They're very fiscally responsible. When the trucks are out for a long time, 20, 30 years. But I definitely think I would invest in training. They all want it. We have so many new situations coming about, whether it's how to de-escalate a situation, or I hate to say active shooters. There's just so much training needed, and the problems change from year to year, and so our society has changed. So I would definitely support more training.
Thank you. Todd?
Because it went all the way down there. Could you repeat it one more time?
Absolutely.
Sorry.
What additional resources would you fund to increase public safety in the village?
I just have a hard time with that question. But the public safety, I mean, police and fire, actually I look between houses across the street from me and I see the public safety building. But we have been very supportive of our police, fire, and actually public safety also is our public works. But and recently we've had grants that have provided the body cameras for our police, and also new infrastructure as far as trucks and things for our public safety, as far as the police and fire, and also for our public works. And I think it's very important that we give a good support for those groups. So.
Thank you. Lauren?
I think one thing we can do, and I think it's being done, but I think it's important to work with the police and the fire department, who they're both incredible, and really do an incredibly thorough job in our village, and they run as lean as possible because of fiscal responsibility. But I think if we can work with these departments to spot issues before and fix issues before they arise, and kind of like create some sort of task force and really work and open up those communication channels, I think it'd be a positive thing for our village.
Thank you. Next question. What's the biggest challenge facing the village that you'll make a priority if you're elected, and how will you do that? Jennifer.
All right. Okay, all right, this is me. Okay. Wait, sorry, let me find it. So could you repeat the question again?
Absolutely. What is the biggest challenge facing the village that you'll make a priority if you're elected, and how will you do so?
Well, absolutely, economic development is huge. Revitalizing this town, this is absolutely a priority. It's what the residents want. That's what over and over again we're told. We want to see more businesses in our town. So, how do we do that? We do it by making our town more appealing to walkers, to residents, so they'll go to these. We put a park in. We're going to improve connectivity with better sidewalks. We're doing streetscape. We're putting in a TIF district so that we can get redevelopment of this site that's been blighted for years, so that we can have more multifamily apartments so that we'll get this walking district. And one thing we never talk about is, you can give money to restaurants or something to support them, but one of the biggest things we can do is be flexible and open to their requests on, like, whether it's an ordinance, whether it's an easement on a sidewalk. We work with them, and that is one of the biggest things we can do. Stop.
Thank you. Todd.
Sorry, just repeat the question.
Absolutely. What is the biggest challenge facing the village that you will make a priority if elected, and how will you do so?
Well, I've been making a priority of looking toward having new businesses into town. Yes, it's nice to have restaurants. Actually, it used to be at 5 o'clock, the whole town would shut down. It's much more revitalized now than it has been in the past after being here 30 years. But I think a big priority is also the development that we are implementing, which is the helping to implement, which is the Golden Triangle. And I think that looking at reviewing our ordinances and different things at different times to be able to make adjustments, to make some changes if that's needed, to be able to help more businesses come into our community. And I think we feel that we've been doing that over the years.
Thank you. Lauren.
Broken record over here. So there is a plan in place, I know, that to position the town to responsibly grow businesses and jobs and activity and accessibility, which will allow Barrington to thrive. I think it's probably one of our biggest issues, if not the biggest. During my term, if I'm elected, I plan to be a positive driving force with this plan and seeing it through, as well as address concerns and needs of the community as they arise. I want to be an advocate for practical progress along the way to nurture this wonderful town.
Thank you. Jesse.
This question is perfect in clarifying what choice you guys have with this election. All of us want to create a more vibrant downtown. All of us want economic development, and honestly, all of us are pretty great people. I've met all three of my fellow candidates. The choice is not who you're voting for in terms of the person, but the ideas they have. And specifically, my idea is to address our biggest challenge, which, as we have seen today, is ensuring economic development in a more vibrant downtown, is to ensure the implementation of the underpass so we can overcome the traffic concerns that have limited our sustainable growth in Barrington, creating more housing such as the Golden Triangle, or within the Golden Triangle, but also elsewhere. And I'll keep saying it, community events and community engagement to get folks out. This will ensure that we are supporting our small businesses, which will empower them then to be able to expand their hours. The fact that we're no longer shutting down the city at 5 p.m. is good, but we're shutting it down now at 9, and folks wouldn't mind going out a little bit later, especially our younger folks. So that's my plan.
Thank you. Next question. How will you determine what is most important to your constituents? Todd.
No, I was going to be first. I just really getting out and talking to people. I'm not shy about doing that. People around here would see me a lot at Cook Street Coffee, and I talk to everybody, and as one person once said, I can make friends with a wall. And I just, hearing what people have to say, what they think about the community, and I do that with talking to people that have small businesses within the community and also just residents around. So I think that's very important, and that's what I always strive to do. I want to hear what people have to say and what they feel is needed and within our community. And as I tell people, I will look into it. I'll do what I can, but I can't always promise everything that you want. But it's something that always consider what everyone has, and no one has bad ideas.
Thank you. Lauren?
I think that collaboration and communication are going to be key to determining what's most important to the community. I think if elected, it is my job to be a voice for the community. I don't have an agenda. I'm not coming in with like an axe to grind or anything like that. I want to be a voice for what is needed within the community and what the community is asking for. So like Todd said, I'll listen. I think that's the way that I'm going to determine what's most important.
Thank you. Jesse?
So not to spoil it, but I'm assuming Jen's gonna also share, just like us, that hope to have that community engagement. Specifically though, my plan is to go further and not just be sharing information, not just be inviting input, but going out and getting that input. Specifically organizing town halls by collaborating with nonprofits. This is something I've done in the neighboring villages, and it's been incredible. Literally, right next door in the village of Palatine, I organized a community conversation in September of 2023. I not only partnered with nonprofits to get them to promote the event and get folks out, I also passed out flyers at our childcare centers, putting them literally in the little cubicles that they have so that all young parents were aware of the event. And we had food at the event as well as childcare to ensure all working parents were able to come. This is what I've done for a living the last 10 years. Community engagement is something I'm very passionate about, and it's certainly something I think we can bring to the village to ensure that we are responding to the concerns of our voters.
Thank you. Jennifer?
Well, like everyone, communication, open dialogue, and how do you have that? I mean, I think when you're immersed in the community, when you're out there all the time, everywhere I go, people are asking me what's going on, they're giving me their opinion, they don't like the street, they want, where is there a new restaurant? But that is so important. I have walked the village with people to say, this is why this one isn't rented, this one we have a new restaurant going in. So it is important, that open communication. We have definitely, we do a lot, I think we do quite a bit of outreach actually. I know President Darch and our village manager are often, they're going to the schools, they're going to any group, like local subdivisions to talk about any issues they have. We go out with them, we have to be careful because of the Open Meetings Act, but I definitely think you have to be completely open, because with this dialogue, that's the only way you get like policy, and you set policy that is a priority of these residents. So, that's it.
Thank you. Time now requires that we move on to closing statements. Candidates, you will each have 1 minute for your closing statement, and we will begin with Lauren.
Lucky me. Thank you again for having me, and thank you all for coming. I appreciate it very much. If I'm elected as a trustee, I plan to serve with an open mind and a focus on fiscal responsibility. I want to do what is best for Barrington, period. I plan to research topics fully, seek community input, and understand the needs of the community. My goal is to continue to make Barrington a desirable spot for residents and businesses, and continue to nurture and serve my hometown as it has served me so well for so many years. Thank you.
Thank you. Jesse.
My wife and I chose Barrington as our forever home. This is the community we came to raise our children. I love Barrington, and that's why I want to serve it and work to make it better always. It's that love for Barrington that wants me to make it brighter and better. And that's why I have this vision of nonprofit collaboration to connect families efficiently with the resources they need. Community events so that we can get folks out and about, and funding that through grant writing so we don't have to increase taxes. At the same time, besides this vision for a brighter Barrington, I also have a vision for a different type of politics, a better politics, where I'm asking for your vote not because I'm better than the alternative, but because of the ideas I have, the hope I have, and my desire to improve things for you. So with that said, thank you all so much for being here tonight. My name is Jesse Rojo. I'm running for trustee in the village of Barrington because I have a vision for a brighter Barrington and a better politics. And if you support that vision, I'm asking for your vote on or before April 1st. Thank you all. God bless.
Thank you. Jennifer.
Again, thank you all for coming. I just wanted to say that like communication, open dialogues with the residents, that's the key to having policy that is gonna work for the residents. So whether we do surveys, community meetings, being part and being immersed in this community is what ensures that the policy the village sets reflects the priorities of these residents. You know, the residents have made it clear, they want economic development, they want improved infrastructure, they want us though to be fiscally responsible. And they wanna keep our like small town feel. We have momentum. Over the next 4 years, we're gonna see this strategic plan through. We've completed Hart Road, Eula Road, Route 14 underpass is finally underway. We've had $100 million in grants to support these that we were able to get. You know, we need to continue this revitalization with connectivity to our town. We're putting the new park in. We're setting up a TIF district to bring multifamily residents. Village is on the right path and it needs proven, steady leadership who can complete these projects with a fiscally responsible approach. Sorry.
Thank you. Todd?
I wanted to thank everyone for being here. It was really an experience for me. I have never had to do this before because it's always been 3 people for 3 spots. This is a first for me. But I have enjoyed being with all these people that are up here at the podium, and to say that we are a great community, and I like to keep working toward that, to be able to, we do have a lot of community events. We had a health and wellness just at the end of this, end of last month. So the thing is, we are doing things in our community. We are participating. We are finding new ways to try to bring in better infrastructure, to have better commercial housing and the whole bit. I'm not a politician, and I just am someone who wants to serve, and I've been doing that for 30 years within this community. So, thank you.
Thank you, candidates. And now I will turn the mic back over to Vicki.
Thank you, Sam. Outstanding job. Give her a round of applause. This was her very first time. You would have never guessed, would you? No. So, as we bring this forum to a close, I want to thank the candidates for their participation. You're all a credit to the community. It takes a lot of time to do this, and we should all appreciate it, win or lose. On behalf of the League of Women Voters and the Barrington Area Library, I want to thank all of you for coming, and you are also a credit to your community because there are about 30 of you here among how many? So pat yourselves on the back. If you'd like information about becoming a member of the League of Women Voters, there is some information on the table over there in the back of the room, or feel free to talk to any of the members who are here in the room today. Want to raise your hand, League members? So, men and women? Also on the table over here, there's some information on the upcoming election, if you need more help with that. And there's good information also on the League website, which I'll repeat again, which is lwvpalatinearea.org. And most importantly, don't forget, there are several ways to cast your ballot. In-person early voting starts March 17th, and you can still register to vote until March 16th. You could register online. So please participate in our democracy by casting your ballot. Your vote is your voice.